So this is the second lesson on distance equals rate times time. We are going to be comparing speeds today, and we're still going with no calculator. Bart ran 10,560 feet in 30 minutes. Roger ran 1 mile in 10 minutes. How much faster was Roger? So right away we should see that we have a measurement problem. We have Bart's information in feet and minutes, and Roger's is in miles and minutes. The problem is it wants your answer in miles per hour. So we're still going to use our chart. Distance equals rate times time. I have Bart and I have Roger. Okay, but it says how much faster. So I don't know their rate because rate is their speed. I am going to know their distance and I am going to know their time. But I have to put everything into the chart in the same units of measurement. So it says Bart ran 10,560 feet and Roger ran 1 mile. If I want my answer in miles per hour, then I want my distance in miles. So Roger ran 1 mile. So I can go ahead and fill that in. But I can't put 10,560 feet in here for Bart. I have to put it in terms of miles. So I need to figure out how many miles 10,560 feet is. Well, 1 mile is 5,000 roughly feet. So I'm thinking that's 2 miles. So I come over here and I'm going to multiply it by 2 and see if I get 10,560. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus the 1 is 5. And 2 times 5 is 10. And I get 10,560. So Bart ran 10,560 feet, which is 2 miles. Now, again, I don't know their rate, but I do know their time. It's all in minutes, and I need it in miles per hour. So if Bart ran for 30 minutes, how many hours is that? Because if I put a 30 here, that means he ran for 30 hours. Well, 30 minutes is half an hour. That one's easy. Roger ran in 10 minutes. So I need to figure out how much of an hour is 10 minutes. Well, how many minutes are in 1 hour? 60. And so he ran 10 out of 60 minutes. Well, to reduce this, when you have a fraction that ends in zeros, it's kind of like dividing it by 10. You can just knock the zeros off. Or you can look at it as I'm reducing them both by 10. Either way, it's a sixth. What I don't know is their rate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up Bart's equation. So Bart is 2 equals rate times 1/2. Roger is 1 equals rate times 1/6. To solve these for R, to figure out how fast each one's going, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to make him go away. 2 times 2 is 4. Then R times the 1 is just going to be R, so his rate is 4. Now that's 4 miles per hour. Roger, to solve for R, going to multiply both sides by 6. 6's cancel. 6 times 1 is 6. R times 1 is just R. So that's 6 miles per hour. So Roger ran 6 miles per hour. Now let's go back and read the question. How much faster was Roger? Well, if Bart ran 4 miles an hour and Roger ran 2 miles per hour, then Roger ran 6 miles an hour, then Roger was 2 miles an hour faster. So if Bart ran 4 miles an hour and Roger ran 6 miles an hour, then Roger was 2 miles an hour faster. Kevin ran 15,840 feet in 30 minutes. Rebecca ran 1 mile in 5 minutes. How much faster was Rebecca? Okay, I'm going to start with my box. And I have Kevin and Rebecca. All right, Kevin ran 15,840 feet. Now, they're about 5,000 feet in a mile, and I have about 15,000 feet. So I'm going to say that's probably 3. Let's test it. Just because I know 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, and 3 times 5 is 15. Yep, 15,840. So 3 miles. Now, is that the D, the R, or the T? What's your distance? 3 miles. So that goes in for your D. And he ran it in 30 minutes. This is my time. But remember, I can't put minutes. I have to put it in hours, and 30 minutes is half an hour. And I'm looking for the rate. Now, Rebecca ran 1 mile. Don't have to do anything to that. I don't know her rate, but she ran it in 5 minutes. So 5 out of 60. Now, I don't have a cool trick like being able to cancel my zeros, so I just have to reduce this. Remember, you don't have a calculator, but you normally have a clock in your room. So look at a clock, not a digital clock, but look at a regular clock. How many 5-minute increments are on a clock? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 5-minute increments. So 5 out of 60 is going to give me 1/12. So instead of memorizing it, just think about it. Okay, how many 5-minute chunks are on a clock? And there are 12, so that would be 1/12. So now let's set up a Kevin equation. And let's set up a Rebecca equation. And then we solve it. So this one I'm going to multiply by 2. So 6 miles an hour was Kevin. And Rebecca was 12 miles an hour. So how much faster was Rebecca? She was 6 miles an hour faster because I'm subtracting the 2. Number 3. Alex walked 1 mile in 15 minutes. Sally walked 3,520 yards in 20 minutes. In miles per hour, how much faster did Sally walk than Alex? Okay, so we're going to start with our chart. And we've got Alex and Sally. And all right, he walked 1 mile. It's already in miles. That's good. In 15 minutes, and that's going to be my time. So 15 minutes out of 60. Okay, we'll look at a clock. How many 15 minutes are in an hour? 4. So this is 1/4. And that's my time. And I don't know my R. I don't know how fast. Now, Sally walked 3,520 yards. Okay, well, it tells us that 1 mile is 1,760. So I've got to see what can I multiply this by so that I get that. I think multiplying it by 3 is going to be a little much. Let's try 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. 14, 15, 2, 3. Yep. So 2 miles for the distance. I don't know the rate. Now let's see how long she went. She went for 20 minutes. 20 over 60 is really easy to simplify because you can knock your zeros out. And then 2 over 6 reduces by 2 to give you 1/3. Or you can say there are 3 20 minutes in 60 minutes. Either way. So now let's set up an Alex equation. and a Sally equation. And it says how much faster was Sally? She was 2 miles an hour faster. Okay, so for this, we're going to crank it up just a little bit. Paola walked 2 miles in 30 minutes. Jason walked 15,840 feet in 40 minutes in miles per hour. How much faster did Jason walk than Paola? Okay. So we have Paola and we have Jason. I know that Paola walked 2 miles. That's his distance. In 30 minutes, that's half an hour. And I don't know his rate. Jason walked 15,840 feet. We've already done that one. That was 3 miles. And here's the tricky part. In 40 minutes. Well, 40 out of 60. There's not an increment of 40 minutes in 60 minutes. If you go 40, you go 40. If you go twice that, you'd be 80, so you're already over your 60 minutes. So you just have to reduce this. So again, the zeros can cancel. So now I have 4 over 6, but which keeps reducing by 2. So if I divide 4 by 2, I get a 2, and divide 6 by 2, I get a 3. So his time is 2/3. Now this is the first time we've had a number other than 1 on the top, so let's see how that affects what we do. So here's Paola. 2 equals r times a half. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 to make that go away. So his rate is 4 miles an hour. Super easy. But now let's talk Jason. 3 equals r times 2/3. Now we're still going to multiply by 3 to get rid of this guy on the bottom. And that's going to give me a 9. And these 3's cancel. The difference here is it doesn't just leave me with the r. It's 2r. So then to solve this, I'm going to divide by 2. And that's going to give me 4.5. So Paola walked 4 miles an hour, and Jason walked 4.5 miles per hour. So Jason was half a mile per hour faster. So the kicker here is if you have a number other than 1, then you have an extra step to do here. Now when these 2 cancel and I just have a 1 right here, 1 times r is just r. I don't have to worry about it. But when you have a number other than 1 up here, you've got to make sure that you don't lose him. Tim claims he can run the 100-yard dash in 15 seconds. Jeremy claims he can run 400 feet in 10 seconds. In feet per second, okay, so not miles per hour, in feet per second, who's faster and by how much? Okay. Distance equals rate times time. I have Tim and I have Jeremy. Tim claims he can run the 100-yard dash in 15 seconds. Okay, well, I don't want yards, I want feet. So 1 yard is 3 feet, and I'm going 100 yards. So 100 yards, and each yard is 3 feet. So he's going 300 feet for his distance. And he goes there in 15 seconds. Well, seconds is good because I want seconds, so I don't have to do anything to my time. So I don't have to figure out how much 15 is out of 60. I'm not turning it into minutes. I'm not turning it into hours. I want seconds because it says in feet per second. So I want feet and I want seconds. Feet for my distance and seconds for my time. Okay. Jeremy claims he can run 400 feet. So do I have to do anything to the 400 feet? And the answer is no because it's in feet. 10 seconds. I don't have to do anything to there because it wants it in seconds. So Tim's equation, okay, so now I have to divide by 15. Now remember, you don't have a calculator. Okay, well, instead of looking at 15 into 300, What if you covered up one of the zeros? Do you know how many times 15 goes into 30? Sure, it goes twice. Then add your 0 back on. So it goes 20 times. So he is 20 feet per second. Jeremy this one's easier. Going to divide by 10. If you have trouble with this, you can knock a 0 off because they both have it, and then 40 divided by 1 is 40. Or you could just know that 400 divided by 10 is 40, either way. So who's faster? Jeremy's faster. And he's faster by 20 feet per second. Okay, last one. Sarah walked 3 miles in 30 minutes. Becky walked 7,040 yards in 20 minutes. How much faster in miles per hour? So I want miles and I want hours. Did Becky walk? All right. Distance equals rate times time. And this is Sarah and Becky. So Sarah walked 3 miles, and I want miles, so 3. In 30 minutes, and I want hours, so that's half an hour. I don't know her rate. Becky walked 7,040 yards, and I need to convert that to miles. So 7,040, I need to figure out how many of those are going to be on there. 7's going to be too much. I'm thinking maybe let's try 6. So let's go 1760 times 6. I'm trying to get to that number right there. So 0, 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. Plus 3 would be 45. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. We're way over. I'm at 10,000 and some change. I need to be 7,000. So let's go down a little bit. Let's try 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28, 29, 30. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. There you go. So 4 miles. Don't know her rate. And she went for 20 minutes. 20 minutes out of 60. So how many 20 minutes are in 60? And there are 3 of them. Or you can cross out your zeros and then reduce that to give you a 1/3. So Sarah, 3 equals R times a half. Multiply by 2. No top number to worry about. So 6 equals R. Becky, 4 equals R times a third. Multiply both sides by 3. That's 12. How much faster was she? She was 6 miles an hour faster.